I want to re-emphasize that formulas start with an equal sign. You want to make sure that in terms of entering into cells, that when you do have something entered here, that you understand what is happening up above on the formula bar. This white area where the formula is stated right now is called the formula bar. Then you have the X, which will cancel anything that's in the formula bar. The check mark, which acts as an enter button. When you click on that, the Excel will stay right in that cell and give you your result. Fx is where you find the list of functions. Okay, let's quickly chart this data. If I simply highlight all of it and go to Insert, we'll do a simple clustered column chart. You can see a couple of things. The blue outline is the data, the legend is in green, and the purple are the x-axis labels. So test 1 and 2 and the missed days are down here, and you see that John Smith's and Fran Jones, John Smith is blue, Fran is red, they appear here on this chart. Now if I change, for example, the test grade here for Fran Jones, you notice that it's changed automatically on the chart. Now something else that I wanted to look at is how to change the view. We can do that from the View tab. And if you look under the workbook views, the page layout is going to show you how it's going to look on a page and be printed. This, for example, gets cut off here. So if you were concerned about that and you didn't want to change printer settings, you could click, hold, and drag that over. If you notice, I also, when I clicked on page layout here, if you go down here to the views, you can see that normal and page layout is lit up down here as well. So if I just click back to normal, I will go back to the normal view. This edge here that you see with dotted lines shows where the printed page will end. Let's take a look at our data and apply some formatting to it. For example, if I highlight A through D, I can go back to the Home tab and format bold, and maybe even italicize and underline. Now let's take the names and create a border around them. Remember, your border is just like in Word. Under the font group, click here and you can see all of the choices that you have: bottom border, top border, left, right, no border, all borders, which includes the cells in between, or outside borders. In this case, I'm going to choose a thick box border so you can see it on the recording. And there you go. You've got the thick border. Supposing that I want to add a column, say in F1, to put in participation grade, but gee, will it work if I bold, italicize, and underline before I even type the words in? Let's take a look. And indeed, participation actually goes in the way I want it to. Some other neat things to remember are if you double click between the column lines, they will adjust to the longest line in that column. And that does a quick and easy formatting so that everything looks awesome. Great. Continue. You don't want to forget about all of the regular tools that you've used in Microsoft Word. For example, if you've used the Format Painter, which will paint the format, if you click on once and highlight what you want to format, it'll change whatever you're highlighting to that same format. If you select a cell and you click twice on the Format Painter, it'll keep format painting until you click again to turn it off. As you can see, I'm just going crazy with that. Then I'm going to turn it off and I'll undo. And there we have back to normal. Now the marching ants that you see in the name column here, if you hit escape, it will make them disappear. That marching ants simply means that you're in the middle of an operation. Okay, I was taking a look at some examples of bar charts versus column charts. I just wanted to kind of show you some. Up here in the upper left, it talks about the cookie shop, which explains total revenue and expenses, profit and loss, something that you've done in class for a project anyway, to look at those things. Showing you a chart that's a column. The values are across those categories. Then what's the difference between that and looking at a bar chart? You would use a bar chart when you're looking at something that has multiple values across different categories. National Lottery, here this one, Ready, Steady, Cook, Ground Force, etc. These are different categories, and so their values across different categories. The chart title here shows you, let's see, results of sample. We can't quite see what that is, but hopefully you're getting the idea. All of these different categories in this one are, dried fruits, soft drinks, yogurt. Those are multiple things. I also want you to see that you can place your chart absolutely anywhere. It doesn't really matter. The only time the data will change is if you change it here. Let's see, these guys didn't get the bonus question, I guess. So I can change the values there and automatically it changes there. The chart sheet. First of all, this chart is located inside of sheet 3, as we can see at the bottom here. But if I wanted it to be, the whole chart that is, on its own sheet, I could go to the chart tools, go to layout. Sorry, let's go to design. And from design, under the location area, you can click on move chart. And here we have the option to click new sheet, and we can actually even give it a name. My chart. Click OK. And boom, it's on a new tab called my chart. And it's related to the information that is on sheet 3 as I switch over to sheet 3. Now that I have some clear real estate, I want to show you a pie chart. A pie chart might have just one set of information. Here's an example. I'm going to highlight the name column, and then I want to just get the missed days. So I'm going to hold the Control key and highlight these missed days for these fellows. Click on Insert and go to Pie. Pick a simple one. And there I have the missed days chart. Not a whole lot of data, so it's kind of weird to see, but J. Smith has twice as many missed days as Jones. Now, if I wanted to emphasize that, I could explode this piece. What that means is I can carefully click on just that piece of the pie and click, hold, and drag that piece out. Therefore, I'm emphasizing it, and I kind of explode it from the other piece of the pie. So that's just terminology. A little more terminology. I'm going to go back to my other chart. And all charts basically have, just like your graph paper in average math class, an x-axis which goes along the horizon and a y-axis going up and down. Just make sure you know that terminology for my exam. Back to sheet 3. I want you to know that I can have more than one chart on the same sheet. I can, let's see, just do a test one and go to Insert, choose a column chart, clustered column, And this may overlap the other one, but I can certainly adjust this to where I want it to be. And the other things that you needed to know for your examples for class were how to add a title, etc. Going under, clicking on the chart first, and then you'll see the chart tools above. Click on layout. Here you can add the chart title, the axis, the legend. We could change anything like that. We could always change the color of, say for example, J. Smith just by clicking on one of them, doing a right click, going to Format Data Series, much like you did other formatting exercises. Here's the fill. I can change it to a solid fill, grab a different color, maybe a really gold, and close, and those changes are automatically made. Now say that I wanted to just print this chart. If I simply selected the chart and go to File, Print, let's take a look and see if this still works. It does. It did in older versions as well. It shows you a preview of what's going to print. This is page 1 of page 1 of one page. This would print only the chart if the chart is just selected. I'm going to exit out of that for a minute. Ooh, I want to cancel. I could also click on the My Chart page and print that as its own page as well. This just about concludes the basic things that I wanted you to know about Excel. We need to do simple formulas like sum. We need to be able to select and know what we're charting. And click simply going to Insert Chart, then how to format your chart. Remember that formatting the chart, that is changing the way it looks, doesn't do anything to the data. The same thing with when we click on sheet 3, for example, I changed let's see, I changed missed days to an underline bold. It doesn't change anything that has to do with the text. If I changed this number to a comma style, for example, under the number group, and it has 2 decimal places with 0, 0, it does not change that. There is one extra thing I wanted to show you about formulas. Say, for example, I hit the F2 key while I'm in this cell. F2 brings us right into the editing mode. If I wanted to round what the sum of this would be, I would use the round function. And as soon as I do that, the little help comes up at the bottom, and do a parentheses, round the sum of this particular number, whatever that result is going to be, and then I did comma 0. That 0 stands for the number of decimal places I'm going to round to. Then I click, and there in my formula it's rounding to 0 decimal places, and it should be good. So basically rounding that to 0 means that there'll be 0 decimal places there. I did take a look back at my recording, and I don't want to record it again, but basically if we had 2 decimal places here because we had placed the comma style in and then hit enter, it had left me with 2 decimal places here. So I kind of backed it out, did it again. But this looks good. Equals round, sum. That sum would have 0 digits, decimal places. And that concludes it. Have a great night. Thank you. If you got to listen to this, great. If not, oh well. We will just an experiment. Look at doing some more of this in the future. Thank you. Have a great day.